Laker Nation, what's good? Welcome to the Lake Show podcast. If it's your first time here and you're looking for a different flavor of Laker content on YouTube and you value objectivity, rationale, logic, unbiased content aimed on empirical data from a student of the game's perspective, and you've come to the right place, consider subscribing. And for those of you who are already subbed, hit that notification bell to receive alerts on my videos when I drop them. Also, like, comment, and share the video. Lastly, for those of you who shop at Amazon and want to support my content, if you're willing and able, the best way to do so will be to shop through my Amazon affiliate link, as I'll earn a small commission, and we'll put that money towards improving the channel for better quality content. The link will be in the description. Now, with that out of the way, today's podcast is going to be about Kyle Kuzma. Before I go more into Kyle Kuzma, I want to play this audio from Coach Frank Vogel on what he said in regards to Kyle Kuzma being the third option in his competition on the roster and what he wants his role to be. I also believe that the Lakers have issued an ultimatum to him, in my opinion. He has until the end of the season, including the playoffs, to show out or be shipped in the offseason. Now, without further ado, here is Frank Vogel a few days ago, post-practice, talking about Kyle Kuzma and his role in the Lakers.
He was talking about Kyle and still sort of the ways he thinks that he can improve, and just wondered your observations, Frank, of him playing in the spot behind two All-NBA guys and how that's impacted his season versus what you expected of him and how much better you still think that he can get.
Well, obviously, he can get a lot better. He's a young player, but he brings a lot to the table right now. And, he's in a difficult predicament, because, a lot of his counterparts at his age that are on teams without, established superstars, are getting bigger roles. And he certainly is capable of that. But, his role is going to be different on this team. And he's had great acceptance of, trying to find ways to just contribute to winning basketball, and has had a great attitude about it. So, he's going to continue to. It's actually helping to round out his game, so to speak, rather than just focusing on scoring. The defense, the rebounding, the hustle plays. They're all things that maybe you're not focused on as much if you're a young focal point of an offense. So. I think in the long run, this is ultimately going to really help his career.
Difficult predicament indeed, Coach Vogel, and I couldn't agree more. Before I get into that, Kuzma has improved defensively, has improved his energy, and has done things off the ball, things of that nature. So, yes, I agree with Coach Vogel that Kyle Kuzma has improved his game overall as a player, but he is in a difficult predicament because the Lakers need him to be a third option, a consistent third option. So, that's why I have to ask, Laker fan, did you hear that? I did, And now I personally believe and always have believed that he'll be shipped regardless. Rather one wants to acknowledge this or not, particularly the LeBron sexuals. It is what it is. But when LBJ signed with the Lakers, the youngest days were numbered. When I was posting videos back then, and when I was in Hawaii in 2018 or whatever it was when we got LeBron James, I said on the beach, I said the youngin' days are numbered. Enjoy them while they can, because they're going to be shipped. And sure enough, they were. And, sure, Kuz has survived up to this point, but LBJ has a history. LBJ has a history of, playing with two or more All-Stars on a team that he moves to. Moreover, the Lakers, I'm sure, are not thinking to keep Kuz with AD long term. It's no disrespect to Kuzma, but I don't see him as that perennial All-Star type of player. But we'll see. Who knows? It depends on the situation, of the team that he's on. But, AD has an upcoming free agency, so it's important for the Lakers to position themselves as soon as possible for immediate title contention and for the future to have another All-Star with AD as LeBron departs LA, assuming he is to retire as a Laker. Who knows? We'll see. So to me, Kyle Kuzma showing out will be merely to gain interest and increases market value for potential trade suitors who have all-stars, whether it's all-star players, whether it's for example Washington. I know Bradley Beal has made some comments about the team quitting, things of that nature, but don't take a long-term deal, man. Don't take a long-term deal and then bitch about the team that you signed with. You know what I mean? So look out for players like him. Disgruntled all-stars, basically. That's what the Lakers are going to have an opportunity to trade for and pair AD with, for many years to come on the Los Angeles Lakers. So we'll see how that goes. And speaking of disgruntled all-stars, Watch out for Damian Lillard, Laker fam. I highly doubt the Blazers, a longtime rival of the Los Angeles Lakers, are going to trade Damian Lillard. I don't know why the hell the brother tatted Portland on his chest, but usually when cats do that, it means they're going to stay long term. You would hope, but I think Portland. Not to digress, they're in a conundrum. They have two players. Two, all-star players and point guards who take, 20-plus shots a game, don't make their teammates better. They practically do the same thing. They, in my opinion, they would be better from addition by subtraction. One of those players have to go because they do the same thing. They need a legitimate shooting guard who's 6'6". To have two players at 6'2", 6'3", and doing the same thing, they're too predictable. And that's why the Pelicans, a couple years ago with Rondo and AD on the team, they eliminated a third seed and swept them. And the Blazers were a third, team. They pressured Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum 94 feet. They played ball denial. They forced others to beat them, and they didn't make Nurkic. They heavily underutilized Nurkic, and they took a lot of shots. And when you're shooting it, in the low 40s, you're not really helping your team win. And you're averaging 20 shots or more a game. That's 40 shots between them. So it's just too predictable. It's too predictable. So I think they got to trade either Dame, who will get more in return, or CJ. But we'll see how that goes. But watch out for Damian Lillard. He signed a big deal, taking up a good amount of the cap space. So that tells me that he knows damn well they're not going to win a championship. But they may trade him, and he may request a trade. I know supposedly there's a rumor that he, if he was to request a trade, he will request one of the teams will be the Lakers. So watch out for him. Damian and AD will be a really, really good pairing if that was to happen. I would hope it would happen. I would love that, but I just don't see the Portland Trailblazers trading, him to a Western Conference rival. But we'll see. Who knows? So watch out for him, whether it's for the Lakers to get it, in on that. But the thing is, though, to keep in mind as well before I move on here within the podcast is that the Lakers are tied up 4 to 7 years with their draft picks because they traded for AD. With the Pelicans, and they have a lot of pick swaps. It can be anywhere from 4 to 7 years, their first-round picks. So we'll see how that goes. They have some assets on the team they could trade for an all-star possibly, but it's going to be tough, and they have to acquire assets, which they will. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure Rob Pelinka will work his magic. I have I have belief in this front office. They cleared some cap space when they got AD to have a third max slot. They got AD to take a pay cut. So I believe this front office will work its magic in terms of gaining more assets, whether it's trading for them or whatever the case may be. So moving on, I'm also going to discuss the impact of Kyle Kuzma's play and how his numbers have dipped and how he is missing Lonzo Ball. Yes, how he is missing Lonzo Ball. I'll go into detail within this podcast from year one for Kuz to the second year and then to now, and I'll examine his stats. I believe Lonzo Ball being traded really impacted Kyle Kuzma's stats because Lonzo knows Kyle Kuzma's game. He knows his sweet spots, and he fits his playing style, which is in a rhythm, up-tempo, not for him to be a standstill player in the corner, waiting for the defense to collapse on LBJ and AD. So let's examine Kyle Kuzma's stats from year one to now. I know in the media there's a myth from my perspective that LBJ makes everyone better. And, he's a pass-first guy, so to speak, supposedly. That's simply bullshit. Chris Bosh, a perennial all-star player, his numbers dipped when he was in the Miami Heat with LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade's numbers also dipped, especially in the second year when he had, he knew he had to defer to LeBron James because LBJ, to be the one in charge and dominate the rock. It's part of the LeBron James system, and in order for them to win a championship and keep LeBron James happy, Dwayne Wade had to defer to him. That's just part of what comes along with adding LeBron James to your team. Only player that was successful in the LBJ system, where his numbers didn't necessarily dip, and was an all-star player, was Kyrie Irving. Irving was utilized as a bailout offensive type of weapon for LBJ. When teams would collapse on LBJ and when he was tired, and he played up to good, 3 quarters, and he needed somebody to kind of bail him out. That's what Kyrie was. Cavs had no system. It was literally LBJ one-on-one, get the opposing big to switch on D, then attack the cup and get the defense to collapse on him if that wasn't an option, and he kicks it out to the open players standing in the corner for 3. Or he attacks the cup and scores and or N1 if the big from the opposing team switched out to him, or if they shut that down or those options down, then you had Kyrie as the other ISO option. Kyrie spoke on the lack of nuance in the Cavs system and described it as a playground system, and that he didn't like that. He was more of that type of player, he felt, and that was on ESPN First Take when he was invited on to give his perspective and side as to why he requested a trade from the Cavaliers. If you guys don't believe me, please feel free to look it up. Matter of fact, examine everything I say on my podcast. I always tell people to do that. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. LeBron, has to control the ball at all times rather. Sure, his assist numbers are high. It's because he dominates the ball and has to be the one to get assists. It's not on fast movement. And it's not on a system predicated on ball movement where everyone touches the ball. It's dribble out the shot clock to about 10 to 13 seconds and try to get open opportunities, that I mentioned earlier, within this podcast, whether it's big switching on to him and he kicks it out, or a step back 3. That's the LBJ system in a nutshell, fam. What some cats fail to realize is, yes, he has a high amount of assists, but he also has a high usage rate, meaning, he can marginalize other talents around him, and he also holds on to the ball a lot, especially if they don't cater to him, and that's where Kyle Kuzma comes into play. So speaking of Kuzma, the brother surely misses Lonzo Ball, man. Lonzo is a type of point guard to move the ball fast. The ball doesn't stick with him. He wants to push the ball in transition and find early opportunities. Players in rhythm. Once again, in rhythm, and I'll emphasize that because Kyle Kuzma is a rhythm player. He's not a player that's going to fit in the LeBron James system where he's going to be a catch and shoot player that's going to stand in the corner. He's more of an early up-tempo attacking player within rhythm, which is why he thrived under Lonzo Ball being the point guard and why he misses Lonzo Ball. And the proof is, in his numbers. Check this out. Kyle Kuzma in his first year put up with Lonzo Ball as the point guard 16.1 points, 6.3 rebounds, shot 36.6% from 3, and shot 45% from the field. Second year with LeBron James and Lonzo Ball as the point guards and primary ball handlers. You can go back and watch those games. Kyle Kuzma thrived more with Lonzo Ball on the floor and LeBron James off the floor. Plus, in fairness, you have AD coming, which also pushes Kyle Kuzma more to the side. As he's not a second option, and hell, he's barely even a third option per se, numbers-wise. Bradley at the beginning of the season was more so of the third option, where he was putting up 13 to 14 plus a game. And then now with Waiters and Smith added, I expect Kyle Kuzma's numbers to dip a little more, but we'll see. I digress a little bit, but getting back to Kyle Kuzma's season stats from year 1 to now. So his second year with LBJ and Lonzo as the ball handlers with Rondo. As well, Kuzma put up per game in his second year 18.7 points, 5.5 rebounds, shot 30.3% from 3, and 45.6 from the field. So when LeBron was out, Kuzma had strong games in his absence as the first to second option alongside Brandon Ingram, who also excelled in LBJ's absence while he was playing guard duties at times, especially when LeBron, I believe, pulled a groin. But Lonzo's numbers also dipped under LeBron, but this podcast is about Kyle Kuzma, so I won't get into Lonzo Ball stats from year 1 to 2 before he got traded for AD. Then, currently this year, Kyle Kuzma is averaging per game 12.5 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, shooting 29.7% from 3, and 43.2% from the field. His numbers decreased from years 1 to 3, particularly in 1 to 3. And also, his minutes decrease at 31 minutes to 33 minutes. And then now, in this season, his third season, 24 minutes per game. In order for the Lakers to be more potent and better as a team, Kyle Kuzma has to be averaging, in my opinion, 17 to 20 points per game consistently. But the most discernible thing, Laker fam, the most discernible aspect to me on how he misses Lonzo Ball and how he doesn't fit the LBJ system is the 3-point percentage. So examine that from 36% in his first year with Lonzo Ball, running the point guard position, now all the way down under 30%. I believe 29.7 is what I said, or something like that. But AD being the second option, second to first option with LBJ, definitely plays a factor into Kyle Kuzma's numbers dipping. And then however Lonzo found Kyle Kuzma within rhythm and early and within transition. That's the difference. LBJ doesn't push the ball a lot. He doesn't advance the ball. Other than to AD, I believe that's mostly when he advances the ball, is when he throws it up ahead, whether teams score or not. And AD would cherry pick or whatever in transition for a layup or a dunk, or when he has the opposing point guard, because they're obviously going to be safeties back, back in transition. So AD, going out and cherry picking, he's going to have the smaller play on him, so that's going to be a bucket or a foul, and then one possibly. But that's what I see from LeBron James in terms of when he advances the ball. But Lonzo Ball advanced the ball regardless to whomever it was, often and consistently, because he was an up-tempo player, and LeBron James plays more within the half court and runs selectively. In addition, he doesn't play off the ball a lot and handles the ball a lot, so that takes away from Kyle Kuzma's opportunity to score early within the offense. Kuzma isn't the type of player, like I mentioned earlier, to score within the half court, nor score mostly from catch and shoot situations, and that's where he misses Lonzo Ball severely. Kuzma has to be an X factor for the Lakers to win a championship, to overcome the likes of the Clippers, the Bucks, teams of that elite nature. And then adding Dion Waiters, from my perspective, is an insurance policy, especially due to Kyle Kuzma struggling to maintain, per se, that third option role. He's now more so, an energy guy that can defend, shoot, rebound, do, pretty much all-around things, as Coach Vogel emphasized earlier within the audio that I played for you guys. But we know Kuz has more potential to be more than just that. He's proven it in his rookie year to a second year. I believe Kuzma, in my opinion, is a 17 to 20 point per game scorer. And a six-man type of player to borderline all-star player, in my opinion, depending on the team he's on and the situation. On this team with AD and LeBron James, in my opinion, he can't be that, which is why I believe he'll be traded eventually for a third all-star or damn near third all-star player in the offseason, regardless if he puts up good numbers in the playoffs. I do believe Kuzma's play can make the Lakers, give them cause to pause, so to speak, and make it in terms of trading him, and then make it harder for opposing teams to beat the Lakers if Kyle Kuzma averages consistently per game 17 to 20 points per game. That's a big leap, but can he take it? That's the question, and we'll find out come the playoffs. Laker fans, sound off in the comment section down below and your thoughts about Kyle Kuzma's season. Has he disappointed you guys? Has he impressed you guys thus far? Do you guys believe he'll be traded in the offseason or not? Share your thoughts down below in the comment section. With that said, Laker fam, it's a wrap for the podcast. Comment, like, share, and subscribe. I'm Tony on the Lake Show Podcast, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.